good to see y'all. I haven't been around for 2 days. Mama has been very, very busy, but busy is good in business, honey. I'm not complaining. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I've been getting my shekels and my coins in order, like we all should be doing. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I got so many new subs. If you are a new sub, thank you for clicking subscribe, okay? Buckle up, because we have a lot of fun here, but it gets bumpy. Hit that like since you're already here. I'm glad you're here, new subbies. To my original subbies, to my regulars, mwah, it is good to see you as well, okay? Y'all already know what to do with them wrenches. Get rid of the ratchets. We don't disrespect people in here, specifically the women, okay? We protect the women here. I know. It's YouTube and people run rampant respecting the women. I don't allow it in the chat, and you sure as hell are not going to disrespect me. With that said, I don't mind y'all going at it in the chat. I really don't. I don't mind y'all going at it with me. I really don't. But let's do it respectfully. I don't mind the passion, the yelling, the screaming, the all capital letters and the exclamation points. Go off. But we still have to respect each other, okay? That's how we have a good time here. But yes, we do disagree often. All right, guys. So as you know, I am on the block with Jen here on YouTube, but you can catch me on all social platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, okay? I'm all over as On the Block with Jen. If you want to reach me one-on-one, hit me at ontheblock@gmail for business, okay? If you want to do a collab or you want to kick it on my panel or you have a subject for me that you want me to dissect in Jen fashion, then send it to ontheblockWithJen@gmail, okay? Do not go in there looking for a love connection. I ain't looking to connect with you on that level, okay? Mama is good. But I am happy y'all are here, so let's get into it. I'm going to freestyle a little bit today because there's a lot going on. So although the banner says Vanessa Bryant, does she deserve 16 million or more? There's a lot of other stuff that I wanted to cover that's been going on, porque I'm gone 2 days and all hell breaks loose. So we're going to talk about it all. And of course, as usual, if you guys have a rebuttal for me, okay? If you want to contradict what I'm saying, if you want Jen, you're full of shit, that ain't true, by all means, I will drop the link and y'all can come on up here and say it to my face, okay? Also, if you guys want to come up and agree, I'll drop the link as well. Or you want something to add to it because you have more information than me, welcome, welcome, welcome. Because I don't know everything, okay? I know what I know, but I don't know everything, okay? So I just have little tidbits of notes here and there of things that just happened and I want to talk about. But we freestyling today. We could talk about whatever. I'm really interested in this Vanessa Bryant thing. And I want to ask you guys some questions. You let me know yay or nay, okay? Yay or nay, all right? Also, getting offended here is a choice, okay? If you're on here because, I don't like, why you always talking about X, Y, you're not going to change my content, right? And the reason why I implore you to be respectful here is because I want you to enjoy the stream and enjoy the chat. It's very interactive. I want you guys to be able to speak what's on your mind. You just have to do it respectfully. And if you go off, I got to block you. Right? Or one of my moderators got to block you. And I don't want to block you. I really, really don't. Okay? I want us to get it in. But if you get blocked by one of the moderators for being disrespectful, I'm not going to the block list to get you out, right? So, I suggest you woosah, right? And enjoy. Sit back and enjoy. Get your little drink on, your popcorn, your snack, whatever it is y'all doing this time of night, right? And join me. Hang out. You know what I'm saying? Hang out with the homie. I had a busy day. I had a gig today. I'll be posting what the gig was on my Instagram. I always post updates. What I do is, you guys know I'm in entertainment, okay? I act, I do modeling, blah, blah, blah. And I always update on my Instagram page. So follow me on Instagram if you're nosy and you're like, I want to know what gig she was doing today. What gig was she doing? If you want to know, I post it on my Instagram. So let's get into this. And I'm going to drop the link early in case you guys want to come up. I'm not going to wait. I know I usually give y'all a monologue for like an hour. then I open up the floodgates. But I'll drop the link early if you guys want to come up and hang out, right, and discuss this. Let's discuss this. This case has been going on for a while. Believe it or not, some people are saying, why is she suing? Why doesn't she let it go? The woman is worth $1 billion now, thanks to Kobe Bryant. Believe it or not, there are people saying that. She was supposed to get, they were suggesting $75 million. They were suggesting that Vanessa Bryant be awarded $75 million. Turns out she won $16 million, which is really, really far away from $75 million. So some people are saying that she bets to give that money to the rest of the victims of that helicopter crash, because why does she need more money? Is it the principal? So people are divided on this. You guys tell me what you think. Is 16 million enough? Did she deserve 75 million? And also, is she obligated to split it with the other victims of the helicopter crash, right? Should she be, you know what I mean, cutting checks for them as well, because so many other people died and their children died? So should Vanessa Bryant be like, I won this money for us? Or should she be like, no, that was my kid and my husband, and they took pictures of my kid and my husband, so I ain't got nothing for you, but RIP to your family members as well. So what do you guys think? Is she dragging us along? Is it right for her to drag this along? Does she deserve the 75, or take the 60 million and move on with your life and the $1 billion that Kobe left you? What are we thinking here? What do you guys think? I'm gonna let you know what I think, of course. But you guys are welcome to tell me what you think. I hope y'all like my hair. I'm real indigenous tonight. I had a long day, and I was like, I'm not about to comb my hair, so y'all got to bear with me, okay? I had a long day, but I had to be here with my people, so. Okay. So sundown, okay. Sundown is already saying, to be honest, if she got 16 million for leaked photos, that means all other people who had their loved ones' death photos leaked should get that much also. That's a good point, because there have been death photos that were leaked, like Left Eye, for instance. They took pictures of her in Honduras when she passed away in the box, right? And those were leaked. So can Left Eye's family sue, right? She's not the only one. I've seen, believe it or not, death photos of Selena. Yes, Selena on the slab, you know what I mean, in the medical examiner's office. So, those were leaked as well. Can these people sue? What do you think, right? Or are we now living in times where it's a free-for-all, and it's like, you got to charge it to the game because everything now is digital and virtual, and everybody has a camera in their phone? Like, what does this lawsuit mean for everybody else, right? Can people sue for leaked death photos? There have been a lot of leaked death photos, okay? I have a morbid curiosity, so I always go looking for them, but that's a whole other show, right? But it has happened, right? Kobe and Gigi aren't the first death photos that were ever leaked. That's actually happened a couple times before with celebrities. So can everybody else sue, right? And it is only exclusive to celebrities. Are celebrities the only one whose dead people should be protected? Okay. JB's, what's up, JB's? He says, I'm hating. Nah, she got enough money. Well, let me tell you, a lot of people think that. A lot of people think you got $1 billion, go on with your life, RIP, to your baby girl and your husband, but you got $1 billion now. Kobe, you know what I mean? Sacrificed his life, right? Gave it to the NBA, and now you're worth $1 billion. Okay. So yeah, I mean, JB's, you're not alone. There are some people that think you got enough money, leave it alone, right? Here's the thing. Here's my opinion. You guys could. Did I drop the link? I'm sorry if I didn't. I will drop the link now if somebody wants to come up. You guys already know that I prefer to see your faces. Veganista, how are you, doll? I prefer to see your faces, but if the feds are on your ass, I understand that you're going to talk to me behind the avatar, but I prefer to see your lovely face, okay? But if you can't, I understand, because the feds are cracking down on YouTube. They are cracking down. They after all the monkey business, they cracking down on the monkey business. What? Tristan, thank you. Tristan, update. Tristan said CNN confirmed jury awarded Vanessa $31 million 11 minutes ago. Pues mira, let me change my banner. Let me change the banner. It is not 16 million. No, sir, no, ma'am. It is big bank. It is $31 million. There you go. Update. Thank you. See, I love when you guys update me in the chat so I know what I'm talking about and I'm not on here sounding crazy. So update. It's not 16 million like I thought earlier. It is $31 million. So I asked the question again. Did she deserve $31 million for leaked photos, or should she be happy with the $1 billion that Kobe left her, or was it worth suing for the principle of the thing? Now, mind you, she's saying that she's suing for potential future distress and violation, because now she has to live the rest of her life never ever knowing if those pictures are going to be leaked. I think that makes the lawsuit interesting, where most lawsuits, right, are filed because of what happened to me now, what happened to me presently, or what's going to happen in the near future because of something that happened to me right now, right? Like a car accident, like, oh, I got in a car accident, my back is hurting, and it's probably going to hurt me, going forward because the accident already happened. But with Vanessa Bryant, she is suing for a potential distress if the pictures are leaked to the public, right? And the other side was arguing, look, it was internal, it was in office, no one outside of the department got it. Everybody deleted those pictures, calm the fuck down, the pictures are gone. So they say, right? But we all know pictures are never gone. Pictures are never gone. My father used to tell me, siempre hay alguien que yo oí o yo vi, right? Translation is, everywhere in life, for every incident, there'll always be a person that says, I heard or I saw, right? There's always a witness somewhere. So although they said, hey, all those pictures were deleted, everybody calmed the fuck down. Yes, we showed them to people, but everybody deleted them. You and I both know those pictures are not, vanished, right? We all know that. Them pictures are somewhere, right? And I would not be surprised if they leaked. I would not be surprised if they leaked in the future. What's really even more devastating is that according to the filing of the case, they said that Gigi, Vanessa's daughter, Kobe's daughter, they said the way they took pictures of her, they would have had to have moved her body. That is devastating, okay? Hear me out. They said the way her body was positioned, right, after the accident, the only way to get pictures of her would be if they moved her body. So to think that this little girl is probably dead under some debris, okay? Dead under the helicopter. We don't know, right? We weren't there. But can you just imagine that her body was either pulled out of something or something was removed from on top of her to get a picture? Now, initially, I thought that it was one deputy. It turned out to be eight cops taking pictures. 8. Okay? So they tried to play that, no, we were doing it because it's procedure and we were on the scene and we don't know if it's the scene of a crime, so we have to take pictures, right? I'm thinking, all right, one cop was an asshole, whatever. 8. So it was a free-for-all. The cops turned into paparazzi. The cops literally turned into paparazzi of the dead. Okay? That beats my morbid curiosity. That even beats my morbid curiosity. Okay? So, yeah. I mean, my morbid curiosity, I'll tell you a story, took me to out here in Las Vegas. The 1 October shooting, the guy that was shooting from the hotel window into the country concert, right? A couple days after that crime happened, I went to the scene. I'm talking about the bullet holes were still smoking in the freaking food trucks, right? And they had painted black blocks on the floor wherever one of the people fell and died. They painted like black blocks over them so they could count how many people died, right? I had to go see for myself. That's me. I'm real. Listen, I'm a Michael Baden fan. I watch all the autopsy shows. I watch autopsies from beginning to end. But now I'm telling you too much about me, right? I don't want to scare y'all off. But you know, like a lot of people, we all have a morbid curiosity. We all watch First 48. Okay, and when they blur the body, we're like, damn, why are they blurring the body? Or maybe that's just me, John said. But you know, we all have that curiosity. We want to know what happens with crime and stuff. We all fall asleep to freaking Discovery ID, all right? And I'm not the only one. But you know, what those deputies did, that beat my morbid curiosity. Like, what are you guys doing? It was like a free-for-all. It was a free-for-all. Like, as soon as they found out Kobe was in that chopper, everybody took their cameras out like paparazzi. That is despicable, I gotta say. That's despicable. But aside from that, does Vanessa deserve $31 million for that? Or is that an exaggeration? Right? Because she's suing for distress and what she had to go through. And she also said, you know, the way she found out that they died was on social media, unfortunately, right? And I think that's going to happen more and more often because this is a new world order, right? Everything is social media. So I have a feeling a lot more family members of celebrities are going to start hearing their loved ones died via social media. That is the world we live in now. Okay, that's the world we live in now, unfortunately. So she said when she got to the scene, she spoke to the deputy and told the deputy, listen, if you cannot save my babies, please secure the area because I don't want pictures taken. That is what she said to the deputies. If you can't get my babies out of there, please secure the area because the paparazzi or helicopters or drones are going to get pictures of my family. And that just gives me chills because it's the least that they could have done, right? But then some people say it's Kobe Bryant. It's a celebrity. What do you expect? Right? You know, people are saying this money, is she going to split it with the family, the other families? Is she going to split it? Do you think that she should split it with the other family members? I mean, I would. If I was worth $1 billion, I'm like, charity, another, you know what I mean, some philanthropy projects with Gigi and Kobe's name on it. You know what I'm saying? You can never do too much charity work, right? There's so many people in need. But I would break off the family. I mean, what's it to me? I'm worth $1 billion, right? And more. Because not like it caps at $1 billion, right? Kobe is a brand that's going to last forever. So what do you think? Was it too much money? Should they have given her $5 million? And it's like, okay, look, our bad. Do you think that those pictures are going to leak? I think eventually they will. And it's horrible because I think eventually they will. The world we live in and money talks, you know what I'm saying? I think now, will we live to see it? Yo no sé. But I think those pictures will eventually leak because too many people were taking pictures. You have 8 deputies who took pictures and shared it with their friends and their family via text, right? And then, those friends and family was like, yo, guess what John just sent me, right? And so on and so on and so on. And because everybody's so hard pressed for money, right? I can easily see those pictures being leaked in the future, unfortunately. And it's going to be another hit to Vanessa, to Kobe's family, extended family, to his children. But I think those pictures will eventually leak, unfortunately. Unfortunately for them, right? Do you guys think that she should give the other families money, or they didn't sue? It's whatever. What say you? Okay, Max Law. What's up, Jabari? Max Law said the other families settled their case a long time ago. Max Law, can you elaborate? Did they also sue because deputies took pictures of their family, or did they sue for the accident? Help me out. Elaborate. Did the other families settle their case because of pictures taken, or for the accident itself? Because those are two different things. So let me know what you know, Max Law. Sundown said, I'm sure they saw it as a come up for money. Yeah, I don't see why else so many of them would be taking so many pictures. I mean, why? Why? Blood Moon said the other family is getting 15 million. Don Levon said, if they touch my child's dead body for a photo op, I'm gonna need 100 million. I hear you. I hear you. This is the truth. Code Red said, if you pick your nose, it will be on social media before it hits the napkin. Ain't that the truth? Oh, wait. Big Thunder XC said no. Vanessa shouldn't give the other family anything. Not a dime, not a damn thing. Big Thunder, why do you say that? You don't think they deserve to be broken off a little change? Max Law said the accident. Okay, so that's a different lawsuit, Max. That's a different lawsuit. Jabari says, because every asshole with a phone feels like they can photograph everything. That is true. They even photograph like their own deaths and their own crimes. Like now criminals are recording themselves committing crimes, and people who are dying. I mean, I've seen a couple videos already of rappers getting run up on and getting, shot dead while they were live streaming, right? And other people who have committed suicide on live streaming on Facebook Live, or baby daddies that went to kill their baby mamas and were on Facebook Live. So yeah, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different world. That's what I'm talking about. All Sports 23 said, damn, watching On the Block with Jen and the Star Report at the same time. That's what I'm talking about. See? Multitask in the social media verse. Veganista, I would love for you to come up and talk about Ari. I really would. Veganista hit me up and told me about on my community tab page. She knew Ari, the helicopter pilot who was also killed in the Kobe Bryant accident. And I would love for her to tell the story, but apparently Ari was a neighbor of Veganista, and he was a very, very nice man. And as the other victims of the helicopter crash, including Ari, the pilot, are not going to be mentioned as much, right? If at all, because Kobe was a mega star. He was a global star. And sad as it sounds, that's understandable, right? Because in this country, there's celebrity worship. In this country, we don't worship scholars, right? We don't worship, teachers or people that save lives. We worship celebrities, right? That's why it's easy for celebrities to make $1 billion in this country. The Kardashians, although they've never, lifted a finger to help anybody else, and fuck out of here with their charity work that probably started after they became wealthy. I'm saying in general, they are, you know what I mean, world renowned now and worshipped in this country just for having big fake fat asses. Like the asses aren't even real. So it's like insult to injury. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're world renowned for dating black athletes and having fat asses. But in this country, because there's a lot of celebrity worship, yeah, any clown can get to that level, you know, get that money. When you look at somebody like Cardi B, who in my opinion is an unsightly woman. She just is, right? I've seen beautiful women. She don't fall into that category for me. A lot of you guys may be like, no, she hot, she dope, she did. I just don't like that body type. I don't like women that look overstuffed with fake parts. Her tattoos look like dirt, right? She's funny though. She's funny. I get it. But you know, even she's on her way, you know what I mean, to wealth, because this country likes buffoonery, right? So I understand why, you know, the other victims of the crash just go unnamed and untalked about. They weren't famous, right? So I get it. I understand it. It's still horrible. It's still sad, but that's the country that we live in, right? Unless you was a celebrity, nobody gives a damn, right? Unfortunately. Oh, wow. That's an interesting fun fact. All Star Sports 23 said today is also Mamba Day, August 24, 824, his two jersey numbers. No Saint said, Dan Cardi getting some shrapnel. No, listen, I understand why they find her entertaining. I'm just saying, if you're going to make I'm just saying, if you're gonna make a beautiful woman famous, like let her really be beautiful. I don't mind. Listen, I don't knock the hustle. I do not knock the hustle. I'm from New York. I don't knock the hustle. I'm just saying, okay. If I had to look at a face and a body for the rest of my life at gunpoint, I wouldn't choose Cardi B. I would not choose Cardi B. Okay, I just wouldn't. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So Veganista is speaking on the helicopter pilot who she knew personally. She said, yes, Ara. Was it Ara or Ari? I want to get his name right. That's the least I can do. Is it Ara or Ari, Veganista? I thought it was Ari, but it's probably Ara. She said, yes, Ara, an awesome dude. He'd go out of his way for you. He wouldn't take no for an answer, unfortunately. I thought it was really nice that Veganista left, you know, a pretty lengthy comment about the helicopter pilot, because, you know, it brings into reality that other people died that day, right? Other people who had families and friends who loved them very, very much, right? The focus is on Kobe, but, you know, when anybody loses anybody, it's the biggest tragedy in their life, right? Whether or not TMZ reports it, it's a big tragedy, right? So I really appreciated that, Veganista, because a lot of people blame him for it, just like the pilot and Aaliyah's death. They blame the pilot, right? I think a lot more goes into it than that. I heard that Leah's pilot was pressured into, like, no, we got to go now. I did hear that he said the plane would be too heavy with the equipment, but they insisted that Aaliyah had to get to an award show. So I don't know. I don't know if the last call is up to the pilot or the celebrity on the plane. I don't know what kind of pressure they feel. I don't know if they have to fill a quota. I don't know if they have to get, you know, to and fro at a certain amount of time. I don't know. I just know that everyone that died on that helicopter with Kobe, it was a tragedy and it was very, very sad. So condolences to all the relatives that have to live on. Okay, so it was Ara. Thank you, Veganista. It was Ara. His name was Ara. The helicopter pilot's name was Ara. Rest in peace to Ara, especially if he was a good guy. Big Thunder XT says, shouldn't be blamed. I'm sure Kobe was probably letting them know, we got to go. Okay. I can see that. I can see that because baby girl did have to she had to make a game, right? They had to make a game. They had to be there in time for a game. Oh, Jabari Bryant says eventually they can always find someone willing to fly regardless of the situation. I could see that happening too. Like, I'll take you up, right? There's always somebody. I'll take you over there. How much you got, right? I could see that happening. I could see that happening. So it seems like I only got one person saying that she shouldn't have got that money. I think there's only I think there's only one person that says she shouldn't have got that money. Okay, all right. Well, you know, yeah, it was terrible. The details of that case was just, and and her having to relive it again, sitting in court. Um, you know, hopefully moving forward, everybody, every case, uh, everybody needs a sacrificial lamb. So I guess Vanessa Bryant was that, and hopefully moving forward, deputies, cops in general won't be such savages, right? And respect families, right? Respect families of deceased, especially a child, like a child, right? Now, was it done with malice? Was it done just, yo, I gotta show my wife, or yo, look what just happened, I gotta show my friend? Was it malicious? Either way, they paying. All right, guys, so I'm going to move on. Oh, wait, sundown's coming up, so I'll let him speak before I move on to the next topic, because it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. All right, guys, I'll welcome Sundown. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm really good. Thank you for asking. What you got on this, Sundown? What you think?
So at first I was gonna come up, but then I decided not to. But then I came up anyway. So what happened to Kobe Bryant? It's bad, and what happened to his daughter is bad. But I don't want to detract from Kobe Bryant. But there was a case in California a long time ago where a person's photo got leaked. There was an accident, and I think one of the first responders, they all took pictures of the accident, and then they basically sent it to their friends or their colleagues, and then it somehow got leaked onto the internet. But that family got traumatized to the point where they had to go into seclusion. Um, so there's a famous case. If you want to look it up, you can. It's called Porsche Girl. It was I think she was 16.
You
She
said
took her dad's.
Porsche
Yeah,
girl, like a car?
yeah. Don't.
Porsche.
I mean, if you got a strong stomach, you can look it up.
I
But
do.
she was I think she was 16. She took her father's Porsche out. She was going at like 100 miles an hour. She ended up swerving to miss another car and hit a beam. And when she hit that beam, it like destroyed everything. Like it looked like somebody got blown up. And the people that took pictures, it got to the internet, and people were trolling the family. So they were emailing the family like, "Hey, I know that you're into real estate. I'm interested in you know, getting this house. Can you help me?" And then when they opened the message, it was a picture of the daughter. And they were doing that for years. And then I think they ended up settling for a couple 100,000. So I think personally that case was a lot worse than what happened to Kobe Bryant. But I think that Kobe Bryant has more leeway because of his celebrity status.
Uh huh.
But I mean, death photos get leaked all the time.
Right.
So
I said that because I've seen them. Now, why do you say you think that was worse?
I think it was worse because it was a 16-year-old girl, and the people were taking pictures and they were sending it to the family, picking on the family. So they would be sending people emails about work inquiries, but it would be a picture of their daughter. So they would see an email, open it, and boom, it's a picture of my dead daughter.
Mm.
And people were doing that for fun, just to make fun of the family. And they ended up withdrawing the child from, because they had another daughter. They withdrew her from public school. They put her in private school, and then they just went to seclusion because the bullying got to a point where they just couldn't bear it anymore.
All right, I'm definitely gonna look that up. That's absolutely horrific. Okay, so that answers my question when I was saying, is this just good for celebrities? Is it a celebrity thing? But no, you just thank you for sharing. I'll definitely look that up. That's interesting. Um, so 31 million, yay or nay?
Um, if it's 31 million, hey, that's cool. I'm not really here to like say that she shouldn't get any kind of money or she should get more. If she got 16 or 31 million, that's good for her.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Someone's agreeing with you. Jabari Bryant is agreeing with you. He says it was much worse, to be honest.
Yeah, it was 1,000 times worse. So like imagine if you lost your child and people were sending you emails.
Yeah.
And every time you would open an email, because this, if you're in a business, you can't really screen who's sending you an email or who's not.
Right.
And every time you would open that email, it would be a picture of your daughter.
Listen, I don't even open. I don't open like emails and stuff. If I don't know who's sending it, I don't do it. I've seen more dicks, more random dicks than a urologist. I'm done on the flabby dicks. Okay, the dry flabby dicks. Okay, if you are a woman on social media for some reason, men think that you want to see their dry flabby dicks. So I don't even open shit anymore. I'm like, if I don't know who's sending it, I don't even do it. I don't even do it. So since I have you up here, let's stay on sports for a second. I don't know if you heard, but Dennis Rodman said he's going to Russia to attempt to get I had to bring right. What's that girl? Brittney Griner. He's trying to get Brittney Griner out. Now, some people are saying that the government is advising him not, our government is advising him not to, so he may change his mind, like, oh no, forget it. Do you think that he can get her out of there? I've heard he's a dictator favorite.
To be honest, no.
You don't think
Because like this should be a lesson to Americans to respect other countries.
okay.
Like she went to another country, she did something that was illegal and she's paying a price for it.
Okay.
That's just how I feel about it.
Hold on. No, that's not what I'm saying. No, I'm saying they should castrate themselves before they send me a dick pic. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, so Dennis Rodman, you know what I mean, wants to jump into the Brittney Griner case, and he's like, we need to get baby girl home, right? So he wants to go out there and negotiate. I don't think people understand who Putin is. Isn't Putin the same guy? I mean, isn't he the same guy that doesn't mind bombing women and children? I just don't understand why they talk about this guy like he's normal, like you can go and negotiate with him. I found that interesting. I didn't see how, and I could be wrong. Maybe Putin's a fan of Dennis Rodman. I don't know if he knows who he is, but I was like, why doesn't everyone just leave that case alone? Like she committed a crime, whether you think it was one teeny little drop of hashish or oil or 10 ounces, it was a crime. That's Russia. She knew the rules. It was an 8th season. So I don't see the outcry. I just don't.
Well, I mean, she's not the first case of somebody going to another country and doing something illegal and paying the price. I think she's just in the limelight because she plays sports and she's a part of a certain community.
Right.
And I think that that's why she's in the headlines, is because she's kind of like one of those people that's in a protected class. So they're going to do everything that they can to make sure that everyone knows about it and try to downplay some of the things that she did. That would be like if somebody from another country came here and did something illegal. It's only right that they face the consequences and the repercussions of our law.
Right.
So we can't go to another country and do something and then try to use the frame that, oh, we're American, so we shouldn't be held accountable for doing something illegal.
Right.
or we shouldn't be able to use our celebrity status to try to get ourselves out of a situation.
Right. Yeah, I honestly think and it sucks to hear any 20 something year old is getting 9 years in prison, but I think that there was you know just my opinion, I could be wrong, but there's a part of me that thinks she was just obnoxious and pompous, and it's like, I'm an American and I've done this 8 seasons over. I don't think it's the first time she's ever taken those vape pens out there. I cannot believe. They warn Americans. I have a lot of friends who travel because they're artists, and they warn them over and over again what to do and what not to do going through that airport. So I think she was just like, maybe she's done it over and over and was like, I can do it again. Nothing's going to happen to me. And she just got caught that one time. But I do think she was a bit obnoxious about it. That's just my opinion. Welcome, Jabari Bryant, and No Saint to the panel. Jabari, what say you?
Hey, how you doing, Jen?
I'm
I actually got
good.
the picture up today. Uh,
What?
I said I actually have the picture, the camera up today. I just got home. I'm doing a little cooking, but yeah, I read today that Dennis Rodman wasn't going again after
Oh,
being advised that he said he wasn't going to go. He announced he wasn't going to go, and but Putin does know who he is. That's one of the things. Putin does know him. I was reading that a lot of those dictators, you know, uh, they know Rodman because Rodman was kind of that blue collar guy. He was that, you know, he he would guard anybody. He out hustled everybody. He outworked everybody. So he got a reputation even overseas. And you got to remember, this is when he played in the era where basketball was really basketball, where it really was, you had gods on the court. He played in the era of, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan and Allen Iverson. I mean, he played during a great time in basketball, and he was a mega star during that period. Plus, you have to remember the guy, was banging Madonna, and he was, with Carmen Electra, and I mean, he was one of those guys that were bigger than the game, So the Putin does know who he is. I read that Putin, just like the little Chinese dude, the little Korean guy, a lot of those guys were fans. A lot of Europeans and Asians were fans of his, and is one of them. Now, I will say this: uh, Rodman had as good a chance as our State Department of getting her out. I mean, I just at this point, if you're a person who wants Brittney Griner to come back, Rodman is as good a shot as any, because clearly our State Department doesn't care, and I'm not saying that they should. There are literally hundreds of thousands, well, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of young guys in jail for trace amounts of marijuana.
right.
I mean, let's just be honest. It's against the law here too. And in some places you will go to jail for that too. And if you have two other offenses in some states, you will stay in jail for that. So I think we need to keep things in perspective. I agree with the previous person on the panel who said her status and her name, are what got her in the limelight. But yeah, I could care less about her. I could not care less about her.
Do you think in general people should just let it go, even if she has to do the 9 years? Because people are like, oh, she'll be out in a couple months. They're going to negotiate and switch her out for a Russian terrorist. But do you think it's time, like, just let it go? She committed the crime. It's 9 years. It sucks, but moving on.
I don't think she'll do 9. She'll do some time. And honestly, I hope they don't trade her for the Angel of Death, for the Merchant of Death, I mean. And that guy was something else. And an American basketball player doing 9 years for a drug conviction is not worth that guy. I mean, it's not even close, in my opinion. And the $31 million thing, and I'll leave because, the people of LA County are paying that money. Like, people are saying maybe it'll be a deterrent, maybe it'll stop it. It won't. Because the people who actually did it, they're not paying anything. They got fired, maybe. and most of them probably already have another job because there's public sector shortages everywhere. These people probably went one county over and got another job. So the taxpayers of LA County have to pay this. And I think that's when we see these big amounts, we're always quick to celebrate. But that raises taxes in a place that homelessness is already out of control, that crime is already out of control. They don't police some neighborhoods of color primarily. This is a place that has gotten rid of their anti-gang task force. I mean, it's not a place that, just is growing money out of that, wazoo. So I think it requires a step back because you're not spending their money. You're spending the citizens of that city or that county's money. And I don't know if the people of LA deserve to pay $31 million to Kobe Bryant's wealthy widow. I'm just saying.
Oh, shots fired.
I'm just saying.
To the wealthy widow.
Which she is.
Okay. So
the money isn't going to make her whole. The money is a point, but the money isn't going to make her whole. She's wealthy. She's not rich. She's wealthy. And the people of LA, what are there? 6 million, 8 million people in LA. Everybody got to come out with $2.50 a piece, $2.50 each. I mean, you really put it in perspective. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
What if she puts the money back in the community? Damn, Jabari.
Does that ever happen?
How many red bottoms can one woman buy? Come on.
These are people who, the Bryants weren't exactly known for their charitable giving before. And I'll leave it at that. But hopefully she'll do some good with it. Hopefully she'll make the most of that. But yeah, I won't hold my breath. If I were a betting man, I wouldn't hold my breath. But yeah, that's my opinion. And it's good to see you and to be seen. I'm gonna get back. I gotta eat. I'm making some rigatoni, broccoli, and chicken tonight. So.
Okay, so you're eating. Okay.
Oh no, I'm cooking.
Oh, you're cooking.
Yeah, I just made my Alfredo sauce, and
you can hang out while you cook.
I could, but I want to remove the camera. So.
Okay. All right. That's okay.
All right, I'll be here.
Okay. Thank you, Jabari. Nelson, what say you?
Hey, Jen, how are you? I am a brand new subscriber.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna weigh in here. I disagree with Jabari on this.
Okay. Your sound is a little muffled.
I might have to go back out and come back in, I guess, if I have muffled sound.
You just sound really low.
What's that?
You sound low.
I sound low?
Yeah, can everybody hear him?
I mean, he sounds a little muffled.
I can come out. I try to go out and come back in.
Yeah, go out and come back because now you're really low.
Okay.
Because I want to hear what you have to say, and I want everybody to hear. What's up, Jessica? Hola, mami. Wow, so Jabari's like, no, she didn't need the money. But I wanted to ask Jabari, I don't know if you can still hear me. But
yeah, I hear you.
What other way, right? Because, of course, I think it's the principle. No saying is bad. Of course, I think it's the principle, right? The lawsuit was about the principle. Of course, Vanessa doesn't need the money. So, I know it's not about the money. But how else could the message have been given aside from a lawsuit?
No, I'm not saying that. No, let me be clear. I'm not saying she shouldn't have sued them. I'm not saying that the county shouldn't be held responsible, but it was the people. I mean, this isn't like a road wasn't repaired and somebody hit a road and died. Right. These were employees, and the county is being held responsible for the actions of individuals. And you sue the county because the individuals don't have any money. Let's just be honest. If it was about recompense or truly holding people accountable, you sue those first responders for 5 years' pay or something like that. You see what I'm saying? An amount that a judge can award that punishes them. But as is, it doesn't punish the people who were guilty. It punishes the citizens of Los Angeles County. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it punishes them with an amount that, Los Angeles probably has a $10 billion budget. You know what I'm saying? $10 billion budget as a city. So it's not going to kill them. But, like I said, $250 a person are contributing to, the Bryants, continued wealth.
But my question was, not that you think she shouldn't have sued, but I'm saying, let's say there was no such thing as lawsuits. How else could they have given them a message?
I mean, there has to be, you know what? There's not. There's no criminal charge available. There's no actual type of charge for violating someone's privacy. And whether you're a celebrity, the families, just like the girl who died in the Porsche, no one deserves to have their dead relative, the images posted all over the internet. When I'll share something and then I'll share it. My first cousin, who's like a brother, he lived with us for a while. His mom, my mom are sisters. They lived with us for years. And he was murdered. And the coroner, for whatever reason, didn't arrive. And he laid out in the sun for 5 hours.
Jeez.
5 hours. And they wouldn't even let us cover him until someone that I knew from the neighborhood that was a cop. He was a sergeant at the time. He's, higher rank now, but he's a lieutenant now. But until he came on the scene, they wouldn't even let us cover his body. And he was shot in the head. And
hell no.
By a high caliber round. So you can imagine what that did to him. He was shot in the back of the head, and it was a horrific sight. And people were calling my family members and telling them what was happening. And my sister had nightmares for years because she was like, he was like our brother. And they were a few months apart in age. They were super close. Mm-hmm. And she went out and saw him like that. So I understand how callous, I really do understand how callous people can be. And, at the time I wanted to do things to, you understand.
I understand.
But I get how callous people are. But until you put some type of real privacy penalty with teeth, you're going to continue to have that because people just don't care. Like, people are cruel. And this was over 10 years ago. And I feel like society is much worse today than it was 10 years ago.
What's scary is that now everybody has a camera in their hand.
Exactly. I can't imagine if that happened today. It would be all over social media.
I mean, when Trayvon died, and then I'll pass the mic to No Saint. When Trayvon Martin was murdered, people were doing, I saw memes on Facebook that I had to keep reporting. Like, they were taking his body and putting him, and I'll just say, they put his dead body shooting out of cannons. They put his dead body coming out the ocean like he was a seal. Like, I saw some really morbid, despicable, like, just inhumane things. With Kobe and the helicopter crash, I saw jokes on that all over Facebook, like, oh, now his daughter will be hot for real when she gets her. Like, in other words, like, the flames crash. So it's a cold, cruel world. Like Haran says, dress warm, because it is a cold, cruel world. And with that, I will pass the mic to No Saint. Welcome, sir.
Okay, so if this doesn't work, I can go on my phone. Is that any better?
It just sounds so shitty. Go ahead.
Let me go on my phone. I'll get on my phone and do it. For some reason, this ain't working for me tonight.
Okay, because I want to hear you.
Yeah, I'll come right back in. Give me
All
a
right,
second.
thank you.
I've said this before. I think the reason why people are the way that they are, especially like the disrespect to people's like families, is because unfortunately the internet, people are free from consequence. You
Ooh,
can you can post something on the internet. You can say something that's very disrespectful because the internet protects you. It doesn't always protect you, but for the most part, people can say and they can do things um, and remain, anonymous. There's that fear of, if I make fun of this person's family, or like you were saying with the Trayvon Martin one, I've seen some of those, and it
ah,
was like just the audacity of people to do that. It just made me not like the internet even more, because it's like, that person wouldn't do that, if they knew that they would rub shoulders with somebody from his family, or not just him but other people.
mhm.
I just think that the internet age just gives people, this freedom from consequence.
Yeah, I call it the wild wild west again. It's like being on a cruise in the middle of the ocean. Like there are no fucking laws there. That's why I do what I can. If you got a probation officer, they getting called. Okay. If you're on house arrest, someone's getting a call. Okay. Attorneys are gonna get called, prosecutors, the judge that presided over your case. I don't play. So and I think that's what people are gonna have to do, because people aren't protected on the internet. You can hit that report button or that bullying button and no one's gonna do anything about it. So you have to go to the next step. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. But I ain't too far gone for I will call you PO and leave my name. I throw fucks. Okay. Y'all think the Star Report is the snitch network? Don't play with me. Okay. So welcome, No Saint.
Am I any better? I hope.
Yes, much
All
better.
right.
Thank you so much for coming back like 3 times. Please share with us. I know you are a new sub, so welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, I got a couple things now. We're talking about the internet and how people are able to do things that maybe they normally wouldn't do. Some of it, I think, has to do with, you know, a person on the other side is just you don't have that connection with them, and the reward of making that whatever, if you think it's clever or a joke or whatever on somebody else's expense, it doesn't hit because you don't know that person. In other words, maybe I'm on, not that I didn't do this, but I'm on here and I'm trashing Jen over the internet. It's a lot easier to do. If I'm sitting, or if I know her, or I have a personal connection to her, then you humanize them, right? But some of this stuff has been around a long time. Like we talk, I think it's just made easier by the internet. Like I remember, I'm an old guy, right? So I remember when the space shuttle blew up. I was in a school, and I'm telling you, man, it couldn't have been within an hour or two. They had a joke out, and I don't know who came up with the joke. I don't know if somebody heard it on the radio, but it was like I remember it was like, what was the color of Christy McAuliffe's eyes? And then the punchline was blue. One blue this way, one blue that way. And I mean, that was out like right away. I couldn't believe it. So that was when the Space Shuttle Columbia blew up back in the 80s. But
86,
say it again.
85 or 86. I remember it. I
Yeah,
watched
it was
it.
86. Yeah. Or 86. Yeah, I think it was around 86, 87. I think you're right, though. But no, as far as me disagreeing with Jabari, I was just saying, listen, if it were a cop and the cop was caught murdering somebody, you better believe that you can sue the city of Los Angeles. I mean, if it happens all the time, right? But you better believe you can sue the city of Los Angeles over that.
Oh, I know you can. Bro,
And I
you
mean,
can.
and who else are you going to sue? I mean, you're not going to get the money from the individual, right? And
But is it
so,
about? My only thing is, it's not the money that the people ultimately want. You ultimately want some type of justice,
yes,
and you're not getting justice from the city when the person, especially in a case like this, where nobody goes to jail, where the person the people actually did it, They got fired. That's it. They got fired. And you can go 2 counties over and get another job. And in LA, they're all of these small outside of LA. I know Jen has been there. I don't know if you've been there. They're all of these small municipalities where they can get another job.
Yeah.
I mean, and the people who are responsible get to walk away. And the taxpayers who are not responsible are the ones that have to pay. And I'm not saying that I don't know a way to remedy that. You understand? I get it that that's the system we have, for providing justice. But does it really do anything to the person who's responsible? Is my question.
You know when I think it's going to change? Because I've heard already twice, and just twice. I'm sure other people probably heard more. I catch what I can. But 2 people have been murdered because of YouTube beef. Most recently, I forgot the guy's name. I think it was Savage Studios. Got into a YouTube beef with another guy, and he was murdered recently. Like I think it was like last week. So I think the more that happens, because again, this is the Wild West, right? People are making their own rules here. People are bullying. People are thinking that they can do and say what they want about people. I think when more people start getting murdered behind YouTube beef, I think then people will start paying attention when someone does report somebody for bullying or using their name in a certain type of way. But I think that has to happen a lot more. But I think it's going to happen a lot more because these people think they're anonymous, but we all know that you can get codes and find out where somebody's using their computer, right? I have a friend who works down in One Police Plaza. He does computer forensics. I can put in a phone call. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So it's like, you can find people now. Also, people they start growing YouTube muscles like liquor, and they show where they live, where they hang out, in the restaurant, and checking into places. Oh, I'm at this barber shop now. So I think it's going to happen more and more often. And then I think people will start paying attention when people start saying, wait a minute, but I reported this guy 20 times and you guys didn't do anything about it, though you have a report button. So I just think that more people have to die, unfortunately, for people to pay attention.
Yeah. And I just want to come back at what Jabari was saying. I understand what you're saying, and they can go and get a job on the next county over. But that, if they caused whatever city, $31 million, then it's up to the next police department or city to say, do we want to take on that responsibility and take these people on? Because they're going to know they were the ones that got fired. You can't really run away from that. So, I mean,
it happens every day. Like, not to be, again, callous, but it happens every day. You see officers that have been fired for excessive force that move literally one county over, where they get the newspaper, see everything on TV, and they got a new job before they fill the position. They have a new job before the county that had to fire them fills the position.
No, I mean, I agree. Because, if you look at Chicago, for instance, right, they came out with a statistic. I forgot. I don't have that link anymore, but it was showing that there was maybe 100 got hired or something like that, and 900 people quit.
Right.
So they were so undermanned that you could have a cop that was a piece of shit in another department in Illinois. He gets fired. He can go right to Chicago because they need the people so bad that they will probably overlook what it was that he got fired for just because he has the training.
So what do you, Jabari, what do you think about this, or anybody on the panel? Don Levon says when someone gets killed in a car accident, they sue the insurance company, usually not the driver. LA County is their insurance company.
Actually, generally speaking, the insurance company takes on, it's the point of insurance. The point of insurance is you take, the insurance company takes the liability from the person. And a person pays in. You pay your premiums in case. I think it was Chris Rock that called insurance companies in case shit. Like in case shit happens. But if it never happens, you never get your money back. So, you pay into that. When you are a city government or when you're a municipality, well, like this, the people of Los Angeles with their taxes, they're not getting anything out of that. They're not able to collect on a premium for however many years before they have to pay out. And another thing about an insurance company, you get in a big enough wreck or enough small wrecks, they'll drop you.
Oh.
Well, and I want to add to that. It's not just that. Let me turn this down. Hold on. It's not just that. He's right as far as the insurance company will cover you, but they'll cover you up into the coverage. You can get sued for $2 million, and if you have $50,000 worth of coverage, then they start looking into like if you have, if it's worth it to the lawyers to pursue it, they can go after your house and they can go after other stuff.
Right.
So, every time I pay my gun insurance, it's like, oh, like,
and many of us don't carry insurance. I want to bring up. I want to talk about what you were saying earlier about the basketball player, and he's right. Rodman's not going over there, but I think like North Korea and Putin and Kim Jong, or I think it's Kim Jong Il, they're two different. They're not the same, man. Putin's a much more sophisticated, smarter person. I don't think we like I think it was Jabari I was saying we shouldn't give her up for the prisoner swap, and I tend to agree with him on that. But people need to understand where they're going. I mean, I understand she was a basketball player, but remember the dude over in North Korea that decided to steal a poster? You need to know where you're at, man. You can't be doing stuff like that in other countries. You gotta get caught up.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. A lot of Americans go to other countries and they think that because they're American that they can get away with a lot more. That's why a lot of countries, especially in Europe, they don't like Americans because Americans have a really nasty attitude and they think that they can do whatever in other countries and get away with it.
That's true.
But also, I think when you're an athlete, that doubles, right? How obnoxious you are because they're used to being pampered and catered to. They're athletes, they're celebrities. So I think they're even worse of an American to travel overseas. Before I switch gears, Jabari, I really want you on for this next subject, okay? And you gentlemen on the bottom probably know about this too. But let me just say, I haven't said super chat break. I haven't got one super chat and I've been up here a fucking hour. So somebody get me a super chat so I can do super chat break. Or if you want to support the show, hit me on my Cash App. It's scrolling on the bottom on the block with Jen. Get me a smoothie. Buy your girl a smoothie. Okay. So let me switch gears. Okay. Have you guys heard of FN Meka? I'm sure you have, Jabari. FN Meka, the AI intelligence rapper that got signed to Capitol Records and then dropped. Have any of you heard of FN Meka?
Yeah.
Okay, so for anyone who's been under a rock, FN Meka is a artificial intelligence, right? Is a rapper. He's kind of like a cartoon. Right? I'm older, so I would just call him a damn cartoon, but it's not. It's a lot more advanced than that. He has 11 million followers on TikTok. Okay, he's very popular. Got signed to Capitol Records. He's a rapper. He is voiced by a real rapper, so it's not like his voice is completely computer generated. He is voiced by real people. Also, he was modeled after, they said, Lil Pump, who was another rapper, and Tekashi 6ix9ine, right? So this was the first ever artificial intelligence rapper signed, right, to Capitol Records. And just as quickly as he was signed, he got dropped because people were protesting that he was a caricature of Blackness, okay? It's funny because I was on the Star Report the other day and I was saying the exact same thing where they're giving this artificial intelligence, I'm sorry, it's a cartoon. They're giving him a personality to the point where he was on Twitter in 2021 saying that he doesn't have a father and he wished he knew who his father was. And if you notice the replies to that, people started relating to this artificial intelligence thing. They were like, oh, I don't have a father either. Like, it's messed up. So they were pulling on, you know, on mental strings with the audience. He has 11 million, you know what I mean, TikTok followers, but then he got dropped. I'm very cynical. I think everything is marketing and bullshit, right? So I was thinking that they purposely said he would be signed to Capitol Records. That's a lot of press. And then purposely knew that he was going, you know, they knew he was going to get dropped. And now that's a lot of press. But Jabari, I know you know a lot about, you know what I mean, marketing. What do you think? I think it was all bullshit from the beginning. I think they're still going to make a lot of money. And I don't think that this AI needed a record deal.
Okay, can I be the the true cynic in all it is?
Oh, wait, before you do, my people came through. Let me do a super chat break. Thank you guys. But I gotta twist your arm. Cold Red says, I love you, Jen. Thank you for that. Don Lavon says, well, damn. Thank you for the super chat. And Afro Universe also sent me a super chat. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. See, I'm all smiling. Jabari, you were saying.
Yeah. I when you mentioned it,
Stephen Hawking.
I mean, because I've only heard of it in passing. Like, I didn't really. So I just looked it up and read about it.
Okay.
Maybe people need to look in the mirror. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. The fact to lend credence to what you said, that it was canceled because people are saying that it was appropriation, cultural appropriation.
They said cultural appropriation,
which is a word that give me a break. Every time I hear that, I say, give me a break. And then they say it was culturally insensitive.
Culturally sensitive, cultural appropriation, and he was saying nigga in his
right.
rap.
Well, and this is from somebody who's a fan of Pac and Biggie, and yeah, if it hurts your feelings that much, maybe you should look in the mirror about what rap is, about what hip hop is. If that it's a true caricature from everything I've read in the last 3-4 minutes, from what I'm looking at. I even like the music, if that's what you call it. It's a caricature of what rap is today, but it is what rap is today, which is why it caught on, which is why there's so many followers, which is why from a marketing perspective, you can't blame the marketing executives for understanding the market.
Ooh.
And that's all this is. These are people who punch things into a computer. The computer does not lie. The computer doesn't lie. This is what rap is today.
Mm-hmm.
That what they consider a caricature. When people turn that mirror on you, you are embarrassed. There was a time when, and it was done. We turned the mirror of hip hop. We looked at it and we said, this is the culture, for good or bad. Mm-hmm. The gangster rap of the 90s was a lot of people's reality. You know, for some people it was their fetish, but for a lot of people it was their reality. People could relate to it. People forget that there was also, you know, Chubb Rock and Big Daddy Kane and, you know, Rob Bass, and there were people that were people call them corny, but Kid and Play. There were people rapping about partying, house parties, and, you know, people like LL rapping about getting women, screwing your women. You know, hip hop was this diverse sea of creativity. I remember when Outkast dropped. I'm from Georgia, so I'm biased, but you know, the boys when they dropped, it was another level. They got played nationwide during the East Coast West Coast beef. You know, they brought that Southern flair. You know, the South wasn't just booty shake. You know, the Midwest wasn't just not the Midwest. The Mid Atlantic wasn't just go go. You know, it was that alternative. You know, and people are embarrassed because that's what rap is. What I'm looking at is what rap is.
Okay, so let me jump in really quickly, and then I'll pass the mic to the other gentleman. But I want to say, they said hip hop used to be a culture. It is now a genre, just merely a genre. And right. I want to read the definition of caricature because the math is not mathing, okay? The definition of caricature is a picture, description, or imitation of a person in which certain striking characteristics are exaggerated in order to create a comic or grotesque effect. That is a caricature. FN Meka, the artificially intelligent rapper, is literally mirroring parallel to exactly like Little Pump, Tekashi 6ix9ine,
Yep.
etc., etc. So where is the caricature? Where is the appropriation? I don't get it. He is voiced by a black rapper. So this is the math ain't mathin' for me. And that's how that would have been my rebut. But of course they ran and scrambled to, issue the apology, and Capitol Records dropped their AI rapper. But where is the caricature? So I'm with you. You don't like the mirror, huh? Because that is what rap is today. That is what rap is. So how is it a caricature? It would have been a caricature if that thing was imitating, say, someone like Will Smith. But no, it's really modeled after rappers that exist. He sounds like them, talks like them, walks like them, dresses like them, got the gold teeth, the chains, the color hair. So how is it a caricature? Sundown, what say you?
I mean, if it's a caricature, I would say just look at Lil Pump. Well, I mean, damn, I don't really know much about. I know what they look like. I've never really listened to them, but just off of their appearance, like these guys are very loud. They're very flashy, and I mean, if you listen to them talk, they're pretty ignorant. So if it's a caricature of them, then I understand what the marketing scheme was, because those guys are very loud and they do a lot of things to seek attention. So I think it's a good thing, because you can, like you said, you could put that mirror on them and be like, look, this is what you guys became. Mm-hmm. Don't get mad at don't shoot the messenger. This is just what you guys are now. Mm-hmm. You're a literal joke to everyone, and this is what people think of you when they look at the genre as a whole. But I mean, I can't really speak much on it because I don't listen to the guys.
Mm-hmm. And nor do I. Water, before I pass it to No Saint, Water Sun is protesting in the chat. He or she says, correction, hip hop is not capital letters, nor will it ever be a genre, no matter what the outside posts to your screens. Interesting, because now they're saying that it is a genre. No Saint, what do you think? Genre, culture?
Oh man. Well, what it is it's commercial at this point. I mean, when you talk about hip hop and where it started, in New York, back then it was more of a culture. Now the money's into it. You know what I mean? So this whole AI rapper, it's funny. It's funny that they dropped him. To me, they caved, because you're listening to people that are gonna. When I say people, I mean there's a everything now has a group that's going to protest against it. And really, I don't think it's the majority of people, right? I think it's fringe. I think it's really fringe. So it's crazy to me that they dropped so fast. But I think that's kind of the world we live in right now. But no, as far as the culture thing, I think it was much more cultural when it began. Now it's a lot more commercial.
It's a genre.
Yes, it's definitely a genre.
What makes it a genre, though?
Because it's different aspects of it. So you have somebody like, if you look back in the days of, look at someone like Rakim, look at someone like KRS-One, look at Public Enemy, look at The Roots. They were a different genre because they were politically conscious. And then you had someone like LL Cool J, like the guy said earlier, he was talking to girls. He was making songs about girls, Big Daddy Kane. Then you had the mafioso genre, Cool G Rap, Raekwon, Ghostface. So definitely, there's different genres to hip hop. You got the twerking music now, you have the club music now, you have the braggadocious music now, you got the somewhat conscious music now, so you can't put all of that into one blender and say it's all one thing. There's different aspects of it.
That's a great explanation, because one one aspect of it, another group of people can't relate to, right? So this is FN Meka here. Here's our guy. Um, Again, they said he was designed, after Little Pump and rappers like Takashi 6ix9ine. I mean, he talks like them, walks like them, looks like them, dresses like them. He got the gold fronts and the gold chain, right? Looks like a rapper to me. Looks like a 2022 rapper to me. So I don't see how this is a caricature. I'm having issues with that word caricature. I'm having issues with that word caricature. As you guys know, when you go to a circus or a carnival, the guy makes a caricature of your face, and it's big and exaggerated, and it's cute. This guy looks like the rappers I've seen on the red carpets today. Looks just like them. So how is he a caricature? How are people insulted by this image when that is exactly what Little Pump and Takashi 6ix9ine look like? And these are platinum rappers. These guys are not going wood. They're going platinum and double platinum. So I just call, cap, as the youngins say. There's a lot of cap going on. And I don't understand why people cave into these protests and then cave in so quickly. That's why I say
they're cowards.
That too. But I was like, this was probably all part of the plan, all part of the marketing plan, because FN Meka did not need a deal. He did not need a record deal. So
yeah, if you got that many followers, you don't. I mean, the irony of all of this, I would be interested in seeing the details down the line, seeing 6 months from now, who's distributing the music, who's, because if your theory is correct, you'll see behind the scenes through shell companies, they're still in the what is it, Mecca, whatever the hell his name is. Yeah, they'll still be in that business. You know what I mean? A lot of times you back away because they're cowards. Most corporate boards are cowards these days. So they'll back away rather than to stand up, and especially in a situation like this. But they'll still cut their deal. They'll just cut it through one of the corporations, one of the other businesses they own, or they'll cut it, in 3 months instead of in 3 days. So, if they're in some way involved, if they wanted him, they'll still get him. But if it was a public relations stunt to get the name out there, because I didn't know who the hell it was, you know what I mean, until you mentioned it. And I just looked it up. So, ding, ding, it worked. You see what I'm saying? If it's a marketing technique, if it's a marketing stunt, it worked, and it's working. So
what I don't understand, this is a great comment. Code Red said, they said it was digital or digital blackface, right? So again, the rappers that are out who aren't artificial intelligence, like Tekashi 6ix9ine, Little Pump, and there's so many of them, little Uzi,
Lil anything.
And I forgot the gay guy. What's the gay guy's name? The cowboy.
Young Thug.
Old Town Road.
Yes, the Old Town Road guy. All right, so these guys. So it's like, what's the issue when a white person makes money off the image? Do they only want black people to make money off these horrible images? Because a lot of the rappers out today are really, like, Tekashi 6ix9ine is despicable to me, but he's hugely popular. Like, they put him on a pedestal, they put him on magazine covers, he's up at the Breakfast Club repeatedly. So what is it like? I get confused. It's like
It can't be them making money, Jen, because if they don't want white people to make money, there would be no hip hop today, because they make money off of everybody you see, from the biggest artist to the smallest artist. There's some white guy making money off of them. So that's ignorant. That's ignorance on their part, and that is possible. That's a reason, but it's ignorance of the law doesn't. excuse you from the law. It's ignorance. The fact is, from everything I've seen and read, and since you brought it up, it's complaining because the mirror turned on you and you don't like what you see. Whereas when the mirror was turned on, when the mirror was to the person that said hip hop is not a genre, it's a culture. When the mirror of hip hop was turned on us, from Luke to NWA, the community said, "That's us." The community said, "That's us. That's us." Even if I don't live in South Central, I live in East Savannah, and it's pretty freaking bad. And this music that and the life that they're talking about sounds kind of similar. We saw it, we understood it. There were people who, the camera was turned on them, and the KRS-One. There was people. I had a homeboy who was, he was from a good family. We went to high school. We played ball together. But he was more KRS-One. That reflected his reality. The introspection, the deep thought, the social consciousness. That was more his reality. But we saw in these artists our reality, and we weren't embarrassed by it. I think the problem is they're embarrassed by what they see when that mirror is turned around. When they have to look at, this is what you idolize. This is what you call hip hop today. I think it embarrasses them. And let's not be delusional. Anybody who gets released today is market tested. There is a marketing team at every single label. And you will not get signed if they can't sell you, if they can't put you on a tour, if they don't think you're going to get 200,000 hits on, Apple Music, or if you're not going to get 500,000 views on YouTube in the first, 14 days or 21 days. They've tested all of this stuff.
How do they do that market testing, Jabari?
Well, so,
without putting you out,
Can I add my little 2 cents into this?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
All right. So, a lot of like sound engineers, or whenever, say you have somebody that is a potential artist and they try to put out something, from what I've heard, record labels will listen to the first 30 seconds of what you're trying to put out. And if it doesn't resonate with them, they're not going to run the risk of putting you out, because to them, that first 30 seconds is what grabs people's attention. So if you can't grab anyone's attention, then they're going to move on to the next. Which is why you see so many people come out, and if you listen to like the opening of a lot of people's songs, it's usually really vulgar. They're really saying something that's shocking, and it grabs people's attention, and then they listen to it. That's what grabs them. But that's just what I heard. I heard that from a sound engineer.
Speaking of hip hop, we got Crazy Legs in the building, the family, okay? What's up, Crazy Legs? He is in the chat. We got the icon, the legend, Crazy Legs. He dropped some heat today. That last video he dropped on his Instagram talking about Puerto Ricans and hip hop. You guys got to go check that out. Check out Crazy Legs' last Instagram post. I got a funny feeling it's going to grow some legs and get the running. I'm usually not wrong about these things, but we'll see. Hopefully we can get Crazy Legs up here soon to talk about the history of hip hop. That would be fun. Okay, so you're saying, Sundown, that they do put out a song. Is that what, Jabari and Sundown, is that what you're saying? They will put at least one song out and see what happens? Or they test?
That's not what I'm saying.
No, what I'm saying is, if you go to a record company and you're like, hey, I'm an artist and I want to put out a song, blah, 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 they'll listen to it, but they'll only listen to like the first 30 seconds. And if it doesn't grab them in that first 30 seconds, then they'll just move on to the next person.
30 seconds? Damn.
Yeah, it's not even that long, which is sad. It's not even that long.
Ooh. So let me ask you this. Would they what are they looking for more, the image or the music when they're thinking about selling an artist? The image, like somebody walking in the door, or the music?
I would say both, because if you look at the average video that's out now, it's always naked girls that's around, right? Twerking, because that's popular. That's what grabs people's attention. People are gonna look. They see half naked girls with a bunch of BBLs. It's gonna grab their attention. And then when you have somebody that's super ignorant saying some crazy things, yeah, it's gonna grab people's attention. If you look, I'm telling you, if you look at, say, the Tekashi 6ix9ine, all of his videos, it's him being really loud and it's half naked girls. And he'll drop a video and that shit will get like 15 million views in 2 days.
Like when he got out of prison, the first video he dropped, I was like through the roof. Crazy Legs said, about to get hyped on outsiders trying to talk about the history of hip hop in New York City. I cannot wait. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have Crazy Legs up here and we're gonna talk about it because there's a lot of chit chatter and jibber jabber in these spaces about, you know, the origins of hip hop and who was there and who wasn't. So I'm gonna bring y'all that show. I promise y'all that. I want to go back to one comment really quickly that I thought was interesting. Waterson Jones said, sorry, I know you've moved on from my earlier comment, but the gentleman was talking about styles of rap. No, not hip hop. I'm stuck on the distinction. And also this other comment that said it's cultural appropriation. If that is the case, if it's cultural appropriation, then you can't appropriate something that's not there. So that are they appropriating exactly what these kids looked, act, sound like? Don Levon just he gave us the list. Here we go. Combination of Lil Wayne, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Yachty, Lil Pump, Lil Klein, Lil Peep, Lil Zon, Lil Durk, Lil Baby, Lil Ronnie. When we're looking at this guy, he is a combination of all of those. So if you can cultural appropriate this image, then that means that image exists. That is what hip hop is. So again, I go back to, how is it a damn caricature?
Can I ask you? Because I can't stay much longer. But can I bring up a quick point?
Yes.
This term cultural appropriation. Hip hop is a community. Hip hop is a community that doesn't have. And I saw if that was the conversation that you had earlier, with Crazy Legs that you had on your Instagram. Yeah. I watched that. And
you watched it? Okay.
I did. I agree. Like I don't like the idea of cultural appropriation with music. Like, how are you culturally appropriating music? Like, music is made to be shared. It's an experience that people go through. You know, they're black people that listen to country music. Actually, country music was started by black troubadours. Was it culturally appropriated? Is it culturally appropriated now by people like Cowboy Troy, who do country music, but they're black? Who's the cultural appropriator? You know, when you talk about blonde hair, I see a lot of black women walking around with blonde hair. Is that cultural appropriation? You know, I think we kind of get silly with this. You know, when
I brought that up, they say, well, there's some tribes deep down in Africa that they grow blonde hair, although
you're not one of them.
Why you're blonde.
Yeah, you're not. Well, that's not why you're wearing blonde hair. Let's be honest. So I just think that's a silly, not to insult people directly, but it's silly to throw up the idea of cultural appropriation when it comes to music, when it comes to acting. You brought this point up before. When it comes to the acting, you know, saying that, oh, this character was Navajo, so only a Navajo can play them. Yeah, so are we upset if an Apache plays them? Right. Though they didn't view each other as the same people. If a person was English, are we upset that a Polish person plays them? You know, they're not the same people, totally different culturally. You know, if the person is South African compared to Ethiopian, you know, they sound different, they talk different. Actually, a better example would be the Ivory Coast. That's, you know, completely different. You know, they have more French culture compared to South Africa with English and Dutch culture. The people never really interacted. You know, Africa's 1,000 miles. So, I mean, what is this cultural appropriation that we're dealing with? And this isn't even a uniquely Western thing. This is an American thing. Yes. In this tribalism that we can't get past. It's like I don't know how old the other people on the panel are, but Jen and I are the same age. And we endeavored to become a colorblind culture. And when I say colorblind, you don't obviously we have eyes we can see, but you don't judge people based on their visible characteristics. We tried to move past seeing a person, judging them based on what they look like, and actually getting to the depth of people. And it seems like today people want to revert back to segregationist mindsets, back to the mindsets of the people that said, keep them niggas in the closet. That's what they're trying to get back to.
Yep.
Our safe spaces. You mean segregation?
They try
Bull
to do it
Connor,
to me. They try to do it to me on fucking
Bull
YouTube.
Connor would love you. That's all I can say to them. Bull Connor would love you.
They don't have a fucking space on YouTube. I say it every time I can. People like, you're in our space. You don't have a fucking space. YouTube is white owned. We all just have YouTube accounts.
I mean, I can't get past that. The idea of the cultural appropriation thing is annoying to me, but it goes back to, in my opinion, we're slamming into the wall.
Can I ask the God question when you get done?
Yeah, we're slamming into the mirror. I apologize for talking so much. I'll stop. But they're slamming into the wall, and they don't like what they see in the mirror.
I want to comment after him too. I want to comment.
Okay, I think
because we're gonna close out after this. Jabari has to leave, and I have to leave. I got some work to do, honestly. Okay. So
I think the reason why a lot of people throw up cultural appropriation is because, this is just my honest opinion, they're not capitalizing off of the genre as a whole. It's other people that are capitalizing off of, say, just hip hop. Not just that, but if you go back to like country music, it originally was like Delta blues, then it transformed into something else, then country, then rock and roll with the same thing, jazz. The people came in and then they profited off of it, and the creators or the ones that spearheaded it didn't really capitalize off of it like they could have. And I think that that's why a lot of times they feel bitter and they'll yell out cultural appropriation, because they just didn't come together and capitalize like the outsiders did. If you look at hip hop now, all the people that own these companies, they're all like either white or Jewish. You rarely see somebody that is the head of a hip hop label that is black. It's usually a Jew, or is usually somebody that's white. Jazz is white owned now. You hardly ever see black jazz musicians commercially. Same thing with rock and roll. All those were black genres, but they had outsiders come in. The outsiders put their money together, and then they capitalized off of it, and we just weren't able to capitalize off of it like they did. So a lot of people are upset about that. That's just what I think.
That's a great point. Because didn't Jay-Z have a bar like that where he said, "I'm gonna charge you or double or extra for what you did to the"? What was that line? Help me out, Joe.
Said, "I'm gonna charge you."
What was that?
I don't remember.
He said something. I'm gonna charge you double or extra for what you did to the Cold Crush. Some. Just basically like he's here now, he's gonna charge extra for what the forefathers of hip hop didn't get. I love the point you made. Before I pass the mic to Sundown, and I'm sorry to No Saint, we get out of here. I like the point you made, but whose fault is that really in this day and age? I understand back in the day, but 2022, when you have millionaires and billionaires in hip hop who are black, okay, and have the power to start labels, right, to be the people behind the artist, can people really still be yelling from the nosebleed seats cultural appropriation because they're not profiting? And also, who is yelling cultural appropriation? Are those people in the genre? Are those people in the music business? Like, whose fault is it in 2022? Not whose fault was it in 1922, but in 2022, whose fault is that now? That was rhetorical, unless somebody wants to answer it, and I'll pass the mic to No Saint.
Atlanta is doing a good job of consolidating and putting their money together. No, okay. Texas was like Houston was pretty big on that as well, but Yeah, in this day and age, no, you can't really make an excuse if somebody else that you quote say comes in from the outside, comes in, rakes money, and then takes that money and does something else. Like it's you can't really complain today.
Right, because the star from the Star Report made a great point. He said you would think Bad Boy or Rockefeller would have made their own AI by now, versus the white guys did it and now everybody's yelling cultural appropriation. I think that heat should be directed at the black rappers that are in power. That's where I think that heat should be directed. Like, why aren't they in, Diddy's comments and Jay-Z's comments? And why don't you guys make an AI versus, hey, you guys don't make an AI? You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's, in my opinion, it's like a defeatist mentality. It's like, no, why are you cultural? No, you should be in Diddy's comments. You should be in Jay-Z's comments. You should be in Nas's comments, the real Nas, not little Nas X. Like, you should be in their comments telling them, why aren't you making an AI for us that represents us?
Jen, and I know the other person wants to chime in, and I have to respond to this. Reba McEntire. Like, anybody who has time, look at what Reba McEntire did in country music. She was an artist. That she started out as just an artist. It takes discipline to be a business person. It takes even more discipline to run a label. I don't mean getting your friends and releasing their shit and saying that you a label, but you got whoever signed you actually releasing everything. I'm not talking about that. And it takes even more discipline to run a distribution company. When you distribute the music, when you own publishing, when you own masters. See, that's another level. And that requires business sense. That requires not a hustler's mentality, because hustlers get beat out of their money by businessmen. Because businessmen come with lawyers. Businessmen get advised by lawyers, and they will beat you out of your money. And if you try that street stuff, they show you what a real gangster is. And I'm not trying to be funny. All these so-called gangsters that are getting, raped in their contract, take it, because they see what real power is, what real money is, what really intimidation is. And we talked about, you mentioned jazz. All of those genres were never controlled by the people who released the music, whether you were black, white, or otherwise. That's why so many artists were poor. And that's why groups like the Rolling Stones and the Grateful Dead toured for so long, because they didn't make any money off of their actual songs. They never owned the masters. They never owned publishing. They never owned the rights to their own music, even the stuff they wrote. So they had the tour, because that was the only way they could make money. Now, we want to talk about today, these artists today, the so-called powerhouse artists. They could do it. They could do it because Reba McEntire did it in country, and she controls everything. She controls publishing, distribution. She has a distribution company, a publishing company. She don't have a label. She goes 3 steps up. And so it can be done, but it requires a discipline that most people don't have. I mean, honestly, if your first move is to buy $1 million chain, clearly you're not a person who can handle a distribution deal, a distribution network. I mean, I'm not trying to bemoan anyone, because they do make a lot of money being, the court, they do make a lot of money. But money is not an indicator of intelligence. It is an indicator of a skill, of a marketable skill set. That doesn't mean that skill set transfers over. And I'll shut up and back away.
Exactly.
Or even just being marketable and somebody else pushes you out there. Before I pass the mic to you, Saint, I wanted you guys to look at this comment. You really don't have to run a distribution or be the owner on paper. You just have to control it.
The money's in owning it. The money is in actually owning it.
Okay.
The money's not in controlling it. The money is in owning it.
Publishing rights, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Publishing is where all the money is, which is why when Michael Jackson bought the Beatles catalog,
yes, I thought about that.
I mean, I'm not trying to be like, Michael Jackson's wealth almost doubled just by buying the Beatles catalog when it became available. So publishing, owning the publishing is, I won't want to say everything because people in the industry can, like, I have a brother who was in the industry, and I've sat in on meetings, and if you don't own your publishing, you don't own anything.
No, Saint, I know you've been waiting to say
Yeah.
something before we get out of here. What is on your mind? Don Levon is like, nope. He's like, nope.
So I just wanted to agree with Jabari on a lot of this. I think it's because we're a little bit from an older generation when it comes to talking about this cultural appropriation. I mean, you know, there was a lot of wrongs done, obviously, but as far as like the like even with Elvis, right? I mean, the people that created a lot of the music that he remade some of the songs from didn't get to make a lot of the money.
Somebody
But
asked, did Elvis cultural appropriate?
this is what I'm gonna say. He gave credit. So when it comes to music and these, I mean, if we're gonna go to a world where you can only stick in your lane, it's gonna get boring really quick. I mean, all these groups that came from Europe, from England, like the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, they all gave credit to where they got their influences from, right? But when you look at it, like getting an influence doesn't mean you don't have to work to do at your craft and be creative as well. You look at, I mean, all these groups from that genre. So I guess what I'm saying is I think the cultural appropriation is another one of those fringe beliefs. I mean, I know a lot of people talk about it, but it's, what are you going to say? Okay, so basketball was invented, I think, by a Canadian. So then
Canadian white guy.
yeah, so everybody in Europe and everybody, that play basketball, are they culturally appropriating from the Canadians? I mean, we're going to go that far. I mean, it's kind of a weird American thing, just like Jabari was saying. Am I saying your name right, Jabari?
Yeah, that's
okay.
So I want to give credit real quickly. It was Jay-Z's H to the Izzo. And the line is, I'm overcharging niggas for what they did to the Cold Crush. That's what it was. It says, put another way, the late 80s product Jay-Z eventually saw the monetary gains that Cold Crush Brothers, Grandmaster Cass, and Almighty KG didn't get, I guess that was the motivation behind that.
But who did?
Say again?
But who did? The Righteous Brothers got ripped off. The Beatles. I mean, not the Beatles. Well, not the Beatles. Even the Beatles in their first albums, they got ripped off. They wrote songs about that. How they got used in their first contract. They didn't make really any money off their early albums. That's the game. You're the hoe, they're the pimp. And there's no other way around that. And the only way to change it is to stop being the hoe and to be the pimp yourself, or to be an independent contractor at least.
and Jen, I want to bring up one more thing about the digital. What's his name? MF.
FN Meka. Before you do that, let's do the last super chat break of the night. Thank you so much, Haran DeMarco. Haran DeMarco says, intellectual property / control are concepts most of us don't understand. He who owns the bullets owns the guns. Let me say, Haran DeMarco always coming with these one-liners, boy. I like that because I got bullets and guns. Okay, so getting back to the topic. No, Saint, what were you saying?
So this is what I think there is a fear, and I don't think it's a fear that's not shared by many of us, that if you can cut out the middleman, then we're all going to suffer. I mean, if you can make a digital rapper, and with the deep fakes, they have ways of making these people really look real, and then suddenly you can cut people out of the the middleman out, and then take complete control. You still have to have talent to write lyrics and things, but you can start to like whittle it down the more this AI and computer graphics take hold. I think that might be some of the fear too, which, like I said, that's a worldwide. I mean, that should go over all cultures. We should all sort of think about our job security.
Right. I think anybody who wants money, real money and ownership, better get off their damn asses and go out there and get it, because I'm still surprised that these little cultural appropriations, I'm still surprised that it still we're culturally insensitive. Like, it's weird to me. It's like we're the most advanced we've ever been and the most regressive we've ever been. It's stupid, and the it's like they're so far apart, but then they're smushed together with social media, because now we have a digital rapper, but now people are still crying. You know what I mean? It's good culturally. You hurt my feelings. So I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Everybody go out and make your damn money. Nobody fucking cares. Like, I
It's
still
easier to complain than succeed.
say again.
It's easier to complain than to succeed.
Ooh, and then there's that. So you know, it's whatever. Thank you so much, gentlemen. This was an awesome panel. I wasn't expecting it because I was freestyling tonight. I was like, I'm just gonna come up here and talk, but I learned a lot. You guys already know I take my notes. I'm definitely gonna look up Portia Girl. It's just me. It's what I do late at night.
It's some sad shit. I mean,
Everybody's
be careful with
got
that.
morbid
Like,
curiosity.
you'll give you nightmares.
Say again, no Saint.
I said everybody's got that morbid curiosity. Right? I mean, you were talking about Left Eye. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to go try to look that up.
Yeah, so
pictures are online.
I played a dead person in a body bag for UNLV, the university out here. Their crime program is amazing. Like, they do real,
On Sunday, December 7th, 19.
They do real crime scenes out here. So they have an actual body and like the blood spatter and the injury. So I was like in a car dead in the heat with bullet wounds and the brain matter all on my shoulder. And you have to, sit there for 30 minutes while the students all come out in groups and examine, what happened, what have you. And, so I've always been into that type of stuff. I have pictures in a body bag. Like, I know it's weird. It's fucking weird. But there are a lot of pictures out there of dead celebrities and things like that. So it's like, I'm glad to hear I'm not alone. It's just curiosity. So one of the detectives and the medical examiner was telling me his worst, experience was these two parents had to come in and see their dead child from a car accident, but he only had her face left, like literally her face. But the mother was like, I have to see her. If I do not see her, I do not believe that this is her. I can't believe it happened. I cannot leave unless I see her. So he had the parents sign freaking paperwork to say, if this affects you negatively moving forward, we are not liable. He said they signed the paperwork and he brought her face out in his hands and showed it to the mother, and she fell out. But he brought her face out in his hands and he was like, this is what was left, because she also her car went into a tree or a pole or something. So yeah, should happen.
That's crazy.
Yeah, shit happens. So when he was telling the class that story, and I was like, damn, yeah, it happens. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. Marco Solana TV said my ex does autopsies. Yeah, you could watch an entire autopsy, and I know we gotta go, but FYI, you can watch an entire autopsy on YouTube from A to Z. Like, they bring out and I'm telling you, I saw autopsy, like the girl was intact, and an hour later, Swiss cheese looked like steak. But yeah, you can do that now on YouTube. All right, guys. So with that said, I would like to leave on a lighter note, not people's faces and all that. So, going into this business and marketing, just tell me, Jabari, what do you think the main focus should be for an artist today so they don't get fucked in the ass? No Vaseline. What would you say? What's the thing that they should be focusing on other than performing? Because I'm an artist, and it's hard for me to balance the business and the artistry, because I want to portray and act and create, right? And that's what they're counting on. That's what the artist wants to do. So what would you say to an artist going into this business? What is the most important fucking thing?
Take a lawyer. I always say take a lawyer. Because there are people whose job it is that don't care about the art. There are people whose job to crunch the numbers and I look at it from a purely business perspective. and your art is nothing but a calculation to them. It's probabilities, you know. And so take your own. You don't go to a gunfight with a knife.
No,
And
sir.
most artists are going to a gunfight with a slingshot.
Damn.
So you take a lawyer, and then take an entertainment lawyer, a reputable entertainment lawyer. Otherwise, you're going to get screwed every time. And own. You know, if you don't like the system, write your own stuff. With YouTube and smartphones, the quality of cameras today on the phones is astronomical. And you can do something small until you can afford to buy a camera. You know what I'm saying? Just do your own stuff, release your own stuff. You have YouTube, you have all of these other YouTube-esque platforms. Release your own stuff and build your following, because the groups that did well, we talk about, you know, the 90s alternative. That's how the genre of alternative music started.
Mhm.
It was groups like Nirvana. They were club artists. They were club bands. You know, Guns N' Roses for rock and roll was a club band. You know, back in the day, you had guys like Jay-Z. Biggie Smalls was the best example. Biggie Smalls was a street legend before he ever got with Diddy. So, you know, you build a following in your local community. You tour, you get your name out, you build a following. If you do, like, you act, but more important than your acting, you write. You know, get a group of people that you know that are good actors but are starting out. You know, do your own stuff. Put your own stuff out on YouTube. Make sure you copyright it. Make sure you trademark. Make sure you do all your. Make sure you protect your work.
Man.
But put it out there.
Get me about that.
Yeah, put it out there. But you can't put stuff out there because Jermaine Dupri. Oh, I don't want to get sued by him. Let's just say a lot of artists do. Yeah, you didn't send your stuff to So Def unless your stuff already was up. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I would just say before I hop off, man, is just continue to learn the business, because like the music and just writing the music, it's only going to take you so far. Just learn the business, learn the ins and outs to like publishing, just financial literacy, all of that stuff, because that'll make you better. Because then you'll become hip to the game, and when they try to pull the wool over your eyes, you can say no, because this, and this, and this, and they're not going to expect that. So as your penmanship or as your music gets better, your business savvy should get better as well.
That's a great point. You should be doing both, right? No Saints. Party words, darling.
No, I enjoyed the show. I'm gonna show up more often now that I'm a subscribe to your channel. Like, wouldn't mind being on some other panels if I know a little bit about it. As far as what these two guys here said, I agree with them 100%. When you go into anything like that, any kind of a contract where you're kind of working for yourself. I mean, like, if you look at athletes, they pay people lots of money to work their contracts out because contracts are tricky, and the corporations are going to try to get you on the cheap for sure, and they're going to try to take everything you got. So you definitely need to be a little savvy and know what you're getting into, and not just sign the first thing that gets in front of you. But other than that, Jen, love your show.
Thank you.
I will say I heard you on Star. I heard you talking about the Meka guy.
Yeah.
I messed his name up.
FN Meka.
But I enjoyed the show for sure.
Thank you so much. And look, I do have a light note to leave on. Love is giving us love. The people on the panel have good vibes and great energy. And that's what I love about this show. Now, don't get it twisted, no Saint. We get it popping up here too. Okay.
Right.
We get it popping some nights. But we all leave on a good note. We all love each other. This really is a neighborhood. That's what I tried to make it, and that's what it's become. So I'm grateful for your guys' time. Thank you, chat, for holding me down. I'll come back tomorrow. You never know what I'm going to be talking about. Thank you so much for coming up, Sundown, Jabari, and No Saint. Have an amazing evening. Mama gotta go.
Peace.
Peace. Hit that like and subscribe. Bye. Hit that like and subscribe. on your way out. Thank you for the super chats, gentlemen. Although I had to twist your arm, it is all good. I'm happy now. All right, guys. So hit that like and subscribe on your way out. If you like the show and you're new here, tell people, have them come over. I welcome people on the panel respectfully. Okay. All right, guys. And I am out. Good night, ladies. Good night, gents. Te veo mañana.